one more song that's just a little bit high. Never mind. Let me show you this. I was rooting around at the back earlier and I came across this. This is the original single that I bought 50 years ago. I don't know if you can see that. If you're a vinyl aficionado, look away now because it really is scratched and pitted. I don't suppose it would even play now. I remember getting the bus into town, going to W.H. Smith's in Bletchley, buying this, coming back and listening to it constantly, pretty much wearing it out. I was transfixed by it. Still am, I guess. Not a difficult song to play on the guitar, but perhaps not an obvious choice, especially since there's that big fat bit in the middle where there's no melody, no harmony, and no rhythm really. I'm not sure what we're going to do there. I suspect at that point, for a chunk of it, we're just going to sit on our hands. Anyway, let's get going. I must thank Laura, who left a comment on Rhinestone Cowboy that I covered a couple of weeks ago, suggesting this would be a good song to cover. She's absolutely right. It's been on my list of songs for some time, and it seems to have worked its way to the very top this week. I'm going to play this with a capo on the 2nd fret, as if in D. It was written in E. Lots of sheet music for this is in either E flat or F, which I guess are better keys for the piano, but actually it's in E. If I play it in D, D itself isn't a great chord on the guitar. It's a little bit flimsy up here, but we might add something at the bottom end, D over F sharp and all that kind of stuff. But this is what I've chosen to do. So let's kick off by looking at the intro first of all. And we start with this. If we get these two chords under our fingers, then we can look at the strumming straight away. We get G over A. I've got my first finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then I'm moving diagonally down like that with my 2nd and 3rd fingers there on the 4th and 5th frets of the 3rd and 4th strings. 2 bars of that, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and then we're just going to move it up a couple of frets. And I'm really aiming just to strum the middle 4 strings. And it's back like that and forwards 4 times, making 16 bars in all. And I want to strum down on the beat and up in between, off the beat, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and like that. But I don't want to be too stiff and regimented. I'm going to aim to accent some of the up strums to create some syncopation. Kind of a thing. We get 4 of these. You know what 4 sounds like. Last one. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we end up the last 2 beats of the final chord here on B flat diminished. I've got my first finger down on the 1st fret of the 5th string, and then my 3rd and 4th fingers on the 2nd fret of the 4th and 2nd string. And that is the end of the intro. That's going to take us then into the verse. Later on, much later at this rate, we're going to end up with the outro. And the outro goes on for like a minute like this to fade, and it's just exactly the same thing. So we've already covered the intro and the outro. All right, let's look at the verse. Now I guess when we go for a playthrough of the whole thing, I'll play the melody on the saxophone, but I'm going to sing it at the original pitch for now, even though it is a bit high. We've got 2 bars of this, and there's a lot of this in this song. G major 7. This is a very standard jazz chord shape. I've got my first finger down on the 3rd fret of the bottom string, and I've got what looks like a kind of A minor displaced a couple of frets here on the 3rd and 4th frets of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings. That's G major 7. Ideally, I want to take the 5th string and the 1st string out of circulation by just touching them with my fingertip here, and then the kind of the beginning of my finger there on the top string. And I can carry on strumming as we did before. And then I'm going to move to this thing. This is another jazz chord shape. It's a great shape, and these two go together very well. First finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 2nd finger down on the 3rd fret of the bottom string, and then I've got my 3rd finger here just kind of smushed across the 3rd fret of the 2nd and 3rd strings. I could carry that on up to the top string, that doesn't really matter, but I'm probably going to aim again just for the to stop my strumming at the 2nd string. Anyway, I've got 2 bars of the G major 7, then the G G minor 6. Now you really want to get that under your fingers, and it's like this. I'm not in love, so don't forget it. Now we get onto a D, but I'm going to put F sharp in the bass because otherwise it's a little bit tinny. It's just for a single bar. It's just a silly phase. And F sharp 7, it's a straight E7 type bar chord, barred at the 2nd fret, moving on to B minor for a couple of bars. It's just a silly phase I'm going through. Now actually that B minor, we can hold the 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers there, because look, that's just the same for the G major 7, and we begin that cycle again. Our 2 bars of G major 7, G minor 6, a bar of D over F sharp 7 for a bar, and back on to B minor. So the second half of the verse is like this. Just because off the verse, back to G major 7. I'm gonna love 2 bars, and then we get this. No, no, and it's A6. So I'm just barring with the 1st finger across the top 4 strings at the 2nd fret, including the open 5th string. I'm gonna love, no, no, it's because. Now in each verse the ending is slightly different. For the first one we end up here on this D, and we've got 4 bars of D with some stuff happening. So let's look at that now. We've got D, then we've got G over D, so I'm just playing this little triad shape here on the top 3 strings, keeping the open 4th string going. Then I'm up to this, which is a C triad, the 5th and 3rd frets there on the top 3, and then back to the G over D. But actually what happens is we get 4 bars, we get 3 beats of the D, then 5 beats of the G over D, so we move on the last beat of the first bar to the G over D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope that makes sense. 3 beats on the D, then we move on to the G over D on the last beat of that bar. Hold that for the 2nd bar. Now I've got C over D, and then on the 4th beat again we're back to G over D. So let me see if I can play the very end. I'm not in love, no, no, it's because I like to see. And we're into the 2nd verse. Now verse 2 is exactly the same as verse 1, different lyrics obviously, but then the ending takes us into this interlude, and honestly I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here. There is a little plinky piano part that I've transcribed for guitar, perhaps we'll do that, and then I guess we're just going to kind of sit there for a bit and wait for it to finish. It's all the be quiet, big boys don't cry, all that kind of stuff. I haven't got anything for that. But we get out of it exactly the same way. I'm not in love, no, no, it's because we're on a bar of D, and then the harmony. I mean, you could try playing D, D major 7, B minor 7, it's all that kind of area, but really there are no chords here, or very much else that we can play on the guitar. But in the 2nd bar of this, after it's because, we get a piano melody, and it does this. Okay, and then finally, that's not very useful on its own. I mean, if you do that on an open mic, it might feel a bit odd, but if you're playing with other people or playing along with the original, that might work. That 9th fret there up to the 10th, they are actually the 11th and 12th frets of the guitar. Obviously, we're counting from the capo, so they're easy enough to find. Let's just have that one time then. Okay, now in the sheet music, which I'm hoping you're going to buy, you'll have all this lovely stuff laid out in front of you, much easier to follow, and it helps me out. I've actually just got a big fat 16 bars of nothing there. Right at the end of that, we get a B flat diminished, and that takes us into the third verse. Now the third verse again is exactly the same. The lyric is, I keep your picture upon the wall, and it hides a messy stain. It's lying there. So don't you ask me to give it back. I know it doesn't mean that much to me. I'm not in love, no. It's because so this is the bit we're into now. We end up then with 2 full bars of D, thankfully. And then the bridge is G minor 7. It's very much like the G minor 6, but actually I'm covering the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings. And I'm playing C9 here. You can kind of use that 3rd finger if you like. You can keep that there. I find it easier to use 4 separate fingers for that, but that's up to you. It's a bar of the G minor 7, a bar of the C9, and then we get to F major 7, which is just like the G major 7 we already saw, but starting on the 1st fret. Ooh, you wait a long time for me. And if you want it in the 4th bar here, D minor 7 for a couple of beats, and then D minor 7 with C in the bass. That might be getting a bit fancy. I just want to follow that bass line down there. It's actually in the bottom end of the keyboard, the piano, and also the bass guitar at that point, I think. You could stay on the F major 7, you could just play a bar of D minor 7, but that's it, and that repeats. But when it repeats, ooh, you wait a long time. Okay, we get our C over D, which we had at the end of the 1st verse, and then that goes up another couple of frets, 7th and 5th frets, and that's the straight D chord then. Okay, so that lasts a little bit. And ideally you want BOM, but that's the lowest D I've got at that point. Anyway, all of that repeats. Takes us out then into a repeat of the 1st verse. I'm going to call it verse 4, I suppose, but the lyrics are exactly the same. Verse 4 signals the end of the song. We finish again a slightly different ending. Every verse ends a little bit differently, and that takes us out to the outro. So let's look at that now. The same lyrics as we had. I'll go from kind of halfway through. Wrong, don't think you've got it made. Now this time, G major 7. I'm not in love. But instead of going to our A6, we just go to G minor 6 again. So, I'm not in love. I'm not in love. However that's going to be, you'll sing that better than I do. That's that, and that takes us into the outro. And as I say, the outro is just the same as the intro. Goes to fade. In the long version of this song, there's a couple of versions. I think it's like a 6-minute version. This goes around for like a minute or so. So let me just give you from the 2nd half of the final verse, which is the lyrics, as I say, of the 1st verse, into the outro if I can. And sorry about the singing, never mind. And just because I called you out, don't get me wrong, don't think you've got it made. Here we go. I'm you enjoyed that. I hope it made some sense. Thanks very much for watching. I'm going to have a playthrough of the whole thing now. As I say, I'm going to play the tune on the saxophone so I don't have to sing all that high. When we get to the middle section, as I say, there's 28 bars. We've got something, this little plinky piano thing that we've got for the first 12 bars or so, but there are another 16 bars where I am just not going to play anything at all. Maybe I'll put a picture of my lovely new book on how to read music up on the screen for that. Okay, take care. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully see you on the next one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Thank